Good morning, Sam.
Wake up. You've got to take me for a walk. Let's go.
I know, but I've got to get my coffee first. Uh-oh, no, no, no.
Hi guys, coming at you from Blue Bottle Coffee, and today we're talking the Rolex Submariner reference 16800, and that's from Cameron Barr from Craft & Tailored, who happens to be my friend and a co-sponsor for PWS's inaugural event. What is special about this Rolex Submariner?
So this specific piece is what we would call like a transitional reference. So if we look at like the history of Rolex, the first Submariner that incorporated a date into the dial or ultimately had a date complication was a Submariner reference 1680, or excuse me, 1680 or 1680. This is a 16800, which was later replaced by the 16610. A lot of reference numbers, a lot of crazy horological history there, but ultimately this is a transitional reference between the reference 1680 and the reference 16610. So again, this is kind of an in-between model. Additionally, this one has taken on a very sought-after patina, not only in the bezel itself, but also in the dial. The tritium luminous markers have taken on kind of a nice golden brown kind of patina, and then the dial, if you look at it, you know, in the light, I'll kind of try to move it around, has taken on this like kind of coffee brown type of, you know, texture and patina, which happens through, you know, just wear or, you know, sunlight, maybe, you know, UV, or some people even say that the watches need to go into the dark to take on that kind of patina, but I don't know, I think it's just, you know, with use and wear and time, this is what ultimately kind of brings out the patina in these pieces. You know, the interesting thing about patina in specific is it's something that you can't really create. It's something that kind of has to happen on its own. And, you know, it's whether it be like a vintage Porsche, or whether it be a watch, or even like leather patina, right? You know, those are things that ultimately have to like happen through time and love and wear, and that's one of the things that I really love about vintage timepieces altogether is, you know, every piece tells a story. Every little ding and scratch and kind of fading and all that stuff kind of like is like a little, like almost like a tattoo, you know, in a weird way, but it's kind of like a mark of its history and its being, right? And so I really love that, and that's what we celebrate at Craft & Tailored is, you know, kind of the individual elements of vintage timepieces that, you know, can be seen as patina or wear and things like that. But the cool thing about these early models is if you look at this one, it's got, we'll try to do it in the light so you can really see it, but the bezel's kind of gone almost like this like taupey kind of brown color, and then the dial is also taking on a brown effect. So the black portion of that dial is going brown, and we call that on the vintage side of things tropical. So it's a tropical reference 16800.
That's a natural patina?
This is a natural patina, yeah. The lume plots in the hands are tritium as opposed to like super luminova or you know, a different, you know, base, and we can see that by the designation there at the 6 o'clock. But the dial was originally black, and then through, you know, time and different, you know, elements has kind of taken on like this really kind of cool, like dark coffee coloration.
That is gorgeous.
Kind of fitting because we're, you know, doing the coffee thing. So,
but there's a story behind that watch. Who actually wore that watch, or whose watch was that?
So this is kind of funny. So we just did a shoot recently with a gentleman by the name of Bear.
Yeah.
And the stylist, who's a really good friend of mine, always, you know, comes to us and asks for different kind of style opinions on, you know, different timepieces. And so I showed her this one, and she was like, "That's perfect." So Bear Grylls is actually going to be wearing this piece in an upcoming article for Outside Magazine, which is kind of funny. So, but
what kind of leather strap is this?
This is kind of cool. This is a company called, I think this is Vintage Straps out of Italy. Vintage Straps IT is where you can find them online, but it's a nice, like, bespoke, handmade, you know, vintage leather strap. And
is this aging natural, or did you?
This is kind of their burnishing on the strap. This is actually a new strap. So I just put this one on there, so I just wear it. But the cool thing is you know, these straps take on a really nice patina the more and more you wear them, and I'm kind of into that. Like, even for example, we can like talk about my wallet, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen this wallet.
yeah, this
like
is cool. This is a we actually have a couple of these left, but this is like a Horween horsehide, front quarter horsehide.
Right.
And like, it was like a really nice like light brown kind
See,
of
the way it
coloration.
flips, it's got this outside cover, but it flips over too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you know, again, I've had this wallet for maybe like 2 years maybe, and I've just worn it and worn it and worn it, and it's kind of taken on like this really like rich patina. It was like really light. It was lighter than this.
That's a nice complementary.
Yeah, totally. Like doing a little matching.
So I got to talk about quickly, because the tattoos are showing so visibly with your watch.
Yeah.
What is that tattoo?
This one, this is Latin, so this is Carpe Diem. This means seize the day in Latin.
Right.
And then this one is like an old maritime kind of knot tattoo that's broken on the back. So this was, you know, all my tattoos kind of have like a little story and, you know, kind of purpose and meaning.
Right.
I kind of like get them as they come to me. My girlfriend kind of freaks out every single time I go and get a tattoo, and sometimes it's like just like, you know, off the cuff. It's like, you know, got that idea, I'm gonna go get that like blasted up on the skin today, you know. But each one of my tattoos kind of like has like a story, and we were talking about it earlier. Like, I kind of feel like, you know, tattoos for me are almost like patina and marks like on a watch, where, you know, you have like scratches and dings and dents, and that's kind of like the history of these pieces and what ultimately makes them so unique. And
so if I was coming in and I wanted to buy my first vintage watch, and if I don't know anything about it and I saw this, what is the first thing that I should look at or to notice about this particular watch?
Well, this one is kind of special. I'm going to remove my my smudges on the crystal. You know, I mean, with vintage especially, I look at, I mean, I'm obsessed with this. You know, I'm up at 2 and 3 in the morning looking at different examples and, you know, researching the history and the reference numbers and the calibers of the movement, and, you know, trying to figure out what consistencies and or in some cases inconsistencies, you know, watches of a certain era had. And it's not just Rolex. It could be, you know, Omega or Patek or Blancpain or Hoyer. Right.
What year is this?
This is an 84, I believe, an 83 or 84.
So this is the Hesalite crystal?
No, this is crazy. This is actually a sapphire crystal. Oh. This one has the Cyclops removed, so somebody actually removed the Cyclops on it to kind of give it more of like a Sea Dweller-esque kind of look, as opposed to having a Cyclops. But the cool thing is the 16800 reference was the first Submariner reference to have a sapphire crystal. Additionally, on this reference, we were kind of talking about it being transitional, triplock crown, and we can see that because it's got 3 dots under the coronet there. So there's 3 seals essentially in the triplock crown. But it was also the first Submariner to have a unidirectional bezel as opposed to a bidirectional bezel. So it's got a click bezel. If I can click it.
What is it, 120 clicks?
I think so. I think it varies. You know, again, I know a lot, but there's those details like that sometimes I can't remember. I think it's 120 clicks. Yeah.
It looks solid.
It's very solid. Yeah.
So if I'm coming in and I'm seeing this watch for the first time, I'm gonna think this watch is
somebody might think it's like cool and perfect. Somebody might look at it and go, "Oh, that's like a beat up hunk of crap." You know, like that's the funny thing with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Real watch lovers will find the beauty in that.
Totally.
For sure. Like totally.
Yeah, and again, that's where, like, you know, we as a dealer and broker, like, I like all things watch nerd related. You know, yeah. I gravitate more towards like the vintage stuff because I like patina and kind of unique elements. That's what makes these things ultimately, you know, so unique. One of those, I think, kind of sleeper references. The reference number on this, and in the vintage world, we always do things by reference because we get into the crazy specifics. But this is a 16800, and so this is the model that directly follows the Rolex reference 1680, and the 1680 was the first Rolex Submariner to incorporate a date complication. So this is the follow-up to that very successful model. Yeah, this is kind of a cool and special piece, and it's definitely got some vibe and kind of coolness going on in there, you know.
So one of the things about vintage watches, naturally formed patina doesn't automatically mean rust, right? There's not.
Yeah, you know, if we were to crack the case back on this guy and and look at the components of the watch, I mean, it's very clean and everything is functioning properly.
And one of the first things we can notice that the case, the lugs here, they haven't been rounded that much.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we look at, and we can look at it right here, is the lugs are pretty even, right? So they kind of possess like a nice geometric shape still. I would definitely say that the lugs on this have been polished. That's my professional opinion, but very lightly, which, you know, is something that we look for when we source vintage pieces for our curated collection. We are very, very selective with the timepieces that we curate and ultimately, you know, market both privately and publicly on our website. Matter of fact, we pick about 1 in every 20 pieces that we actually see in person. That's how selective we are. We never buy a watch based on its tangible value. We always, you know, factor in condition and, you know, kind of the quality of the piece versus, you know, its cost associated with it, which is kind of crazy.
So, are there any other final words you want to talk about this specific watch that was worn by Bear Grylls?
No, I just think it's a cool watch, even though, you know, Bear's a cool dude, and this was kind of used as like a prop in one of the shoots.
This is gorgeous. I love that patina.
The watch has gotten a lot of attention, and it's kind of interesting being a dealer and a broker and a collector myself. We'll get something like this in, and it's like, oh gosh, do I want to keep this one for myself? But the reality is, you know, I mean, you can only have so many things and so many good things before you kind of become, I think, like a hoarder.
What makes people into hoarders? Keeps it all because of personal interest or connection?
So that's why I like, you know, sharing my passion and sharing what I know about these pieces. And we're always learning and working with guys that, you know, share the same passion. So happy to curate these collections and get them out to, you know, ultimately the guys who appreciate the same stuff that we do. So
yeah, thanks for sharing this awesome Rolex Submariner.
Of course.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Cheers. Hi guys, we're live from the Blue Box. Hi guys, we're live from Blue Box. Hi. It shows a nice strap to it. It pairs nicely with it.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Thanks guys. I'll see you the next time.
Cool.
Yeah.